we go.
I'm gonna record the whole thing like this, so I look thin.
I don't think that's how that works.
I'm gonna record the whole thing like this.
You kind of look like a mermaid with your tail with that bit on.
Your
I'm ready to go.
Your boobs look good.
Well, hi.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
It's weird if I don't say so good.
So good.
Make fun of me. It's empty.
Welcome back to the Wine About Birth podcast. We are 3 birth professionals.
And best friends.
And we're here to talk about what it's really like to live in the world of birth.
It's all glitter and rainbows.
Or as we like to say, it's a lot more shit than giggles. I'm Kim Haynes, midwife at a busy birth center and busy home birth practice.
And there's also the same home birth practice.
And I'm Jess McKee. I'm a doula for clients in and out of the hospital and also a birth assistant with you guys at our amazing out-of-hospital practice.
I wish everyone would just go to YouTube and see what we look like.
I don't wish that.
Yeah.
Actually, every week I get on and see that there's only been like 10 views. I'm like,
Thank
God.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. Y'all just read how to get it amped up to 100. So
Yes.
thanks
How
a
do people
lot.
have time to, like, I podcast all the time in the car.
Yeah,
like, that's
people
all
don't have time to watch YouTube
Who has
videos.
time to watch YouTube videos?
They probably just have it running in the background while they're like
Yeah.
in their kitchen or
So in case anybody
something.
wonders what we look like when we wake up and throw on pants and put our hair up in a ponytail, watch our YouTube.
Well, I actually feel like I've been looking cuter because I have to
You
wear
are
all this
cute.
maternity clothes that
Yeah.
people gave me. So I actually have a much better wardrobe than ever in my life.
I actually went to the ophthalmologist in this outfit and this hair,
Yeah.
and he
Yeah.
laughed a lot.
Yeah.
So
I don't think
I
that's
still
what
did.
he was laughing at. I'm pretty sure you and Chuck's antics is what he was laughing at.
I went to Food Lion in my pajamas yesterday, and I just put a coat over it, so I was hoping people wouldn't be noticing I was wearing pajama tights, and then I put a hat on my head, even though it was like 50 degrees because I
Yeah.
didn't want to do
What
my
are
hair.
pajama tights?
Yeah.
I don't know, just tights, but that,
You wear tights to bed?
yeah, man, they're comfy.
That sounds awful.
No.
Super
Mm-mm.
comfy.
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of YouTube, Oscar was asked by the #1 DK. Now no one's gonna know what this is.
Donkey
But
Kong?
yes, the #1 DK Smash Brothers person in the world.
Uh-huh.
He
Is
contacted.
he a dick?
He is he's a dunk. He's a donk
It's donk.
to play on his station on his YouTube channel Tomorrow Night
I
Live.
didn't know I was played Donkey Kong.
No, Meredith, just he doesn't.
I was like, damn it, I want to
He
play Donkey
plays
Kong with
Smash
Oz.
Brothers.
And you're the you're the youngest one of us, and you're still so far removed from video game culture.
Thank God.
Anyway, I'm super excited for him.
Really
I'm
proud of
super
that.
excited. You told me
Is
that
he
you're
getting
like,
paid?
No. That's not how YouTube works.
but you were like,
Oh.
you're not going to be excited about this, and then you said, and I was like, holy
I'm
shit,
so
Kim,
excited.
that's so exciting.
I can't wait to watch him get his ass kicked by this guy.
I'm still trying to figure out how Donkey
Live.
Kong is
For the
involved.
record,
Because if you-
Oscar is Kim's 16-year-old son.
And he's like
A
a
gamer.
computer gamer genius kid.
Yeah.
And he was
awesome.
actually ranked. It was so stupid. We talked about this once. He did a competition for one of the games that I don't know which, and he won.
Thankful.
And the winners all go to Florida, and then they try for $1 million. And he actually won. He was one of the top people, but because he wasn't 18, they wouldn't let him. They wouldn't let him compete. And I was like, I'll sign anything. Do they want my second
Yeah.
part? Oh wait, that's you. Like,
I'm trying to give you to them, but they won't take you because
They
you're a
won't
baby.
anyway,
So
I just wanted to brag about
I'm sure
him.
that this YouTuber is one of the people that was influential in his gaming life, which is a good
Good
segue.
segue.
Yeah, because we're going to talk about women who are influential to us.
Yes, we're going to talk about when we wanted to start our birth careers and people that affected us in ways and built us into the birth workers that we are.
I remember the first time I ever met, not Ina May, I remember that too, but, oh my God.
Juliana.
Yes, but
Struggle,
for
but
some reason, even though she's one of
we're
my
cutting
heroes,
you off.
it's not the wine. Anyway, yes, I would say cut that out, but you can't cut it out of YouTube.
Nope.
Obviously, I know her name, but the first time I met Juliana, I was completely freaked out,
Yeah.
and we were going to a Just Birth meeting, and I was like, oh my God, Juliana's gonna be there. And Chuck was like, so what? She's just a person. Just
She's
talk
not
to her.
just a-
Right, I know. And I was like, you don't understand.
It's
I've
also-
read her book so many times, and I don't even know what to do. And then I couldn't talk to her. When
I feel
first
like
saw
that,
her.
like, also, like, showcases how much you've changed in your life. Like, the thought of you being phased by anybody at this point in your life feels so weird to me.
I think I will still get excited in November when we see certain people, but yeah. But no, I don't know. Well, Gretchen had to shove me physically to go talk to Ina May, and I was like,
and then did you fuck him? You did it again. You just called it. Oh wait,
I said Ina May. Yeah.
Now I'm confused.
But then also someone shoved me towards Juliana, and it's funny because I talk all the time. I never shut the hell up, but when I'm faced with someone that I feel,
do you just get real big eyes?
I was just like, oh gosh, Juliana over there. Oh gosh, Juliana, and then I just say stupid shit.
So I want to talk a little bit about Juliana first because I feel like you learned.
I want to talk about it first. No, I want to talk about
well,
it
I feel
first.
like you learned about Juliana from me.
Yes.
So that's why
I'm the OG connection.
I feel like I need to set up the basis for this story. So I wanted to become a midwife straight out of high school. I don't know if I've told this story before. And when I was graduating high school, because, I mean, I might not look like it on YouTube right now, but sometimes people think that I graduated in, like, I don't know.
5 years ago.
2015.
Yeah, but I did not. I graduated a lot longer than that ago. And so anyway, there was no CPM option when I was graduating high school, but I had always wanted to be a midwife, and so I was going to become a nurse and then become a CNM. And I was in the gifted and talented education community in high school.
Oh.
And so I was part of a special program where when I was in high school...
IQ was through the roof.
I don't know about that. They could, like, set you up for an internship with someone in a career you want to be in. And so I was like...
That's cool. We didn't have
yeah,
that opportunity.
it was super cool. And so I was like, I really want to be a midwife. Can you find me a midwife that I can mentor under? And so they looked around, and at that point in time, Juliana was already the director for midwifery at Shenandoah University. So they found her, and they're like, all right, this is your mentor. And so I went and met with her.
You guys are mentee with Juliana?
No, I didn't get to. So I went and I met with her in her office at Shenandoah University, and she was like, so they didn't realize that I'm not actually attending births anymore, so I don't think that this is going to work as a mentorship because I don't think that you were into seeing the, like, education side of it. But she's like, but I really just wanted to give you my book. So she gave me her book at that meeting. And so her book is called Diary of a Midwife.
Not Diarrhea of a Midwife. Diary of a Midwife.
That's what I said.
That book.
No, it just sounded very similar.
Diary of a Midwife?
Yeah.
That's what
my book's going to be called.
That's what our book will be called. It'll just be a picture of Meredith shitting in bushes outside of someone's house.
The Diarrhea Midwife.
I was thinking more of that picture of us at a birth. We have the same shirt on, and mine's covered in shit, and yours isn't. I thought that might be a good one.
Or it could be the face swap of me from Bridesmaids going, look away!
Yeah.
See,
Or it could be me shitting myself in labor, too. That could be. That could
You might not do that.
Penny would be very disappointed if I don't shit
if
myself.
you don't
in
shit
labor.
yourself.
It's just like her favorite part of birth videos.
We're gonna give her the poop net.
I just want to say that's how you know you really made it in the birth world, when you can do a hemorrhage or like any sort of resuscitation or any mech birth and you're still pristinely clean.
Yeah, I haven't made it yet.
I'm there. I'm like, check it out. And then I'll find like a little speck of it on my face.
I worked out.
Or like here, yeah.
I know. I went to a bar once after birth, and then
I
got to
hate
the bar.
how little you clean yourself after
No, because
birth.
it was a birth in Old Town Winchester, and I was like, I'm just gonna go grab a beer, and I like washed my hands and everything, and then I got to the bar and I
You
looked
gotta go
down,
at least to the elbow,
and I
Jess.
realized my knee was covered in blood because I had like put my knee down
Ew.
in the puddle.
It's better
I've done
than
that
poop.
before.
Yeah, I was like, whoopsie.
Remember that time you didn't know there was poop on you and you were like, I just keep smelling shit. And it was on your pants?
That's what I hate about my black scrubs is they literally hide everything,
Yeah.
so you don't realize until later.
I mean,
what
when
is
in
actually
doubt,
on
just
them.
change your fucking clothes after birth.
That sounds like a lot more coordination and planning than either of us are capable of.
No, I'm getting better at organizing my life, so
Yeah, you
that's
are.
probably going to start happening. Anyway, so the book is called Diary of a Midwife, and
I'm never going to be able to hear the same of it again.
and so here I am, I'm like 17 years old, and I bring it home, and it is, so she ran a home birth practice in our area in like the 70s and 80s, and so it was her experiences of when she worked in a big teaching maternity hospital, I think in New York, and then also her experiences running a home birth practice here in a rural place.
And I love that she started out, when I read the book, I was working in the special ed department.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God.
Oh, because she used to be a special ed teacher,
Yeah,
too.
and that's how she was like, it has to be better than this. Like, maybe if it started at birth, instead of waiting to help these kids when they're already in school, like, let's start from birth, making birth better.
Yeah.
So I was like, me too, Juliana. I was also a special needs instructor. We're the same person.
You hesitated for a really long time.
I was also special needs instructor.
Well, one of my kids said that they loved me so much because I was just as special as they were.
Yeah.
You are.
I know.
So
Thank you.
She also paved the way for having a backup provider in this area, which we don't really have anymore, but she was able to accomplish that in her chapter of midwifery, which is cool.
And so I just remember taking that book home as a 17-year-old and just like reading it and being so disgusted at the current state of maternity affairs and being so like enthralled by the changes that she made in each woman one by one that I was like, oh my God, this is what I want to do. So it's like where I learned everything about like unmedicated birth, natural birth, supporting women in their own like whatever. Mm-hmm. So she was super influential to me.
Oh, me too. Absolutely.
And so I don't know if her book is still.
And how does she like?
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Oh yeah, you can find it, as I know because I've been researching, on Amazon. You can buy it on Amazon.
Awesome.
You can buy it used or new.
Yes.
Yes. But I love how she knows who everyone is.
Oh my God, she knows all of her babies'
I will
names
never
even
do
when
that.
they're like 30 years old. I'm like, I don't get it.
She like recognizes people on the street from a birth like 30 years ago.
Yes.
She's like, I think I remember helping you out of your mom's
She literally has
crib.
these in their faces since they were like 6 weeks old, and she can tell who they are.
Not
Yeah.
only that,
It's insane.
I'll hear her tell birth stories and she'll be like, and then baby Eugene was born weighing 9 pounds, 1.5 ounces, 22
How?
inches long.
How does she do
Makes
that?
me feel very
No.
self-conscious.
But this is why she's influential. Like, she's so amazing. There's just something about her that is just so inspiring.
Yes, so inspiring. And then
And she's nonstop. Like, she's never gonna fucking stop. Ever.
And
Well,
then-
she got her first tattoo in her 70s.
Aw, I love that.
I know.
And then on this another note, she has a really close friend named Zan, who is also super influential to me.
Ruby.
I want to talk all about Zan.
Yes. Do you want to talk about it first?
So, she, just to sum her up,
Yeah. She's so
How
magical.
the fuck do you sum up?
you can't. She's so fucking magical. But when I saw her down here when we had the spring, like, Mayfest, she had broken her hand or her arm desperately trying to rescue her chickens from a coop fire.
Aww.
This is how she hurt herself. I'm like,
right.
you ran into a fiery
Fiery furnace.
a fiery
Fiery
flame
chicken furnace.
to rescue chickens.
You would do that. I
would.
That in my mind.
Absolutely.
I'd be like,
Absolutely
we're
not.
having Kentucky Fried Chicken tonight, guys.
Yes. We'll just go pick up the pieces
It's
after
actually
they're burnt out.
charbroiled.
It's gonna be crispy.
So disgusting. But every time I see her, we're like, let me touch your butt. No, let me touch your butt. Oh my God, you're so hot. You're so hot. She's so amazing.
She was influential to me before I even was thinking about being a birth worker, because she worked for a really long time in the health department.
Mm-hmm.
And I would go there as a teenager for my pap smears. And so that's how she helped
Teaching
me
you about like
also
bodily autonomy.
And like respectful care, because especially in some place like the health department where
Where
you
you're seeing
see
people every 5 fucking minutes.
yeah, and as a teenager, like, she always made me feel so special, and I would leave my, like, pap smears, like...
Do your impression of her.
So she would... I just remember being in there, and she'd be, like, doing my breast exams, and she'd be like, oh, look at these breasts. One day they're gonna be milk jugs for your babies. They're so amazing what they can do. And then she'd be doing my pap, and she'd be like, look at that cervix. That is a beautiful cervix.
See, how come that's cool and she does it, but when I do it, you can give me shit.
I'd be like, oh my God, Zan.
They can do no wrong, but man, that's creepy.
I'd be like, oh my God, Dad, you think my cervix is beautiful? You've got the best cervix. And then I would go in there to get my pap smears when I was thinking about becoming a doula, and she'd be like, you can do it, honey. I know about this doula and that doula and this doula. You should call this person, that person.
She's so amazing.
And she literally never stopped. Like,
No.
she just retired recently.
Yes.
But she approached care like that for her entire career.
So it taught me so much about respectful care, even because usually, like, teens getting that kind of care are the least respected and least taught about
She
bodily
went
autonomy.
on, at one point a few years ago, she was providing midwifery care to the inmates, and then the inmates would come and deliver with the hospitalist group. So I was like, she's literally just like taking care of every human being. Like teenagers, she's like, let me teach you how your body's amazing. Like, so you're an inmate. You're still a woman with a beautiful cervix and a beautiful body, and I'm going to make you feel special. And so we've been talking for
a long time. But they were so influential.
No. I was going to say, you and I have been talking for almost 15, 16 years about how we want to grow into
we want to be
Zan.
them.
We want to be Zan and Juliana.
Yes.
You're Zan.
Yeah.
I'm Juliana, obviously.
I feel like if that's going to happen, you have to become really fond of snakes, because Zan loves snakes. And you have to like pick them up and talk to them.
No, I love snakes, and I love all amphibians and reptiles, actually, especially turtles.
And girl, I love you.
Perfect.
But when I go walking with Juliana, I can't fucking keep up with her because her legs go up to like my boobs. So you need to start working on your power walking game, because there's no way that you
I
will be
don't
able to
even
match
have legs.
her gait.
She's a fast sprinter, Kim is.
I'm a very fast sprinter for a short person. I mean, not right now.
And for a short period of time.
Very short period of time.
It's really actually magical to see you sprint, though.
It's what?
It's like really magical to see you sprint. It's like, how did she? It's
like, how do her boobs move so fast?
If you could put my ass while I'm running with your boobs while you're running, can you probably get knocked over. You'd probably get swinging and then.
Well, I wouldn't be able to run.
Pendulously fall over.
My boobs pull me forward. That's why.
That's true.
So what about you? Who's influential to you?
Well, I didn't meet them until after I'd been a birth worker for a while, so I can't say they necessarily like got me into birth work. And I was thinking about that because I don't know. I honestly like the first person who came to mind for me was Alice.
Aww, Alice is the best.
Yeah, like we were just like on this like parallel journey together, and we just like got each other through it. And she got me my first job as a student, and so even though she didn't like, we both were learning as we went. I would say she, above and beyond, has gotten me through midwifery in general. But, I mean, for me, in nursing, like, I was in nursing school, and there was 2 professors I can think of who were super influential for me to, like, get me comfortable, or at least, like, to empower me to feel like out-of-hospital birth was an okay option, because that wasn't, like, a thing in nursing school. That was normalized. Like, it was only because I verbalized an interest that they showed us, like, a home birth video. That wasn't, like, anything in the curriculum at that point in school, so... Yeah, but I have to say, I'm so thankful I met Zan and Juliana afterwards, because they really, like you guys said, like, they're who you want to be as a provider.
As a human.
Yeah, so, like, in a world where it's, like, really hard to find people to connect with, like, thank God we have each other. But sometimes, you know, we're like, oh, man, like, who else is there that we love enough and respect enough to, like, want to share this, like, midwifery journey with? And we all have our people, right? But Zan and Ruby are, like, they're, like, definitely people to aspire to,
Zan,
for
Ruby,
sure.
and Juliana. You said Zan.
Oh, I'm
Ruby.
sorry. That sounds like a children's book. Zan and Juliana. So.
I just want to say one more thing. Like, when I was in school, when I went to midwifery school, you know how you have that one person that just, like, brings out, I don't know, like, everything that you can do.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I can do this. So Dr. Scott, Lori Scott, was a professor at FSTM, and she just, like, would not take no from me at all.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't give a shit. Yeah. She was like, you have kids? You have a husband that's never home? Yeah, I don't care. Like, you are Kim Haynes, and you can do this, and I will not take no, and I will fail you if you don't get this project done, and I will not accept anything less than perfection. And she just, like, was so amazing, and then one day I was like, oh my God, I can do this.
She helped you see your potential.
Yeah, she was like the person in my life that finally showed me like what my potential was.
Yes.
And then from her first class on, I was like, oh, I got this.
Yeah.
But I never felt like that in my entire life, ever. I just was always looked at as like a girl.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Not like a woman with potential, and it didn't matter like what, you know.
Yeah.
So she's amazing, and I still try to keep
one of my strongest, like my experience of that is in nursing school, like, I was, like, a weirdo, right? Because I would always show up with, like, leaves in my hair and, like, posted my dreaded pictures, and I was, like, this weird person
You
that
had
actually
dreads?
hated, not intentionally, but, like, I hated working in the hospital. I hated nursing school. I was like, this is stupid. Like,
That's
we're doing
why I
really fucked up things.
So I dropped out.
And so I was, like, this weirdo that, like, was there but, like, wasn't really doing it because I didn't want to be there. And I'll never forget that one of my professors, when I did my L&D rotation, she's, like, this prim, beautiful woman with this, like, really tight coiled braid on the back of her head, and she always wore skirts. I don't, like, really know, but she's very traditional, like, probably very Christian, just, like, very straightforward and straight edge, right? I'll never forget, like, me, this crazy tattooed, purple-haired nursing school potential dropout. She, like, runs down the hallway, grabs my wrist, and drags me down the hall to this woman's room who was having a natural birth because we hadn't had one on shift before.
Unmedicated birth.
Yeah, sorry, unmedicated birth. And she's like, you gotta get in there now. And she, like, I should never forget this, like, super proper woman just dragging my ass down the hallway in the hospital to get me in this room for this birth. And I was like, this is what it's about. Like, it was just so great.
She knew where you belonged.
Yeah. Even if it didn't fit, like, what the norm was at the time, it was really cool.
And so, like, I think that, so what I learned from Zan and from Juliana is that I wanted to be that kind of birth worker that, because we talked a lot about it today when we were trying to plan this episode and the episodes we're going to do, about how there's a lot of birth providers throughout history who have tried to take power away from women.
Mm-hmm.
And so they showed me through their actions, they empowered me to make my own decisions. And so it was like, that's the kind of provider I wanted to be. Like, someone who showed women that they have power and that they can trust their intuition when it comes to birth, and that you can give that to them. And if they walk away feeling powerful, then you did your job well, or that they can do anything.
Right.
Yeah. And also, I want to say, too, like, you're working on your, like, next course about, like, self-care and birth work, right? And I feel like they embody that, too. Like, they both work their asses off. They work more than anybody probably should, and yet they still do, like, self-care and find time for themselves and prioritize the things that bring them joy also. And they seem like, you can tell that about them when you meet them, like, they're very balanced humans.
And so then I think, moving on past them, but also connected to them, because Juliana happens to be really close friends with Ina May Gaskin.
Mm-hmm.
And Ina May Gaskin...
They are so different.
So different. But a lot of people that listen to this podcast might not know who Juliana or Zan are, but everyone who knows anything about home birth world or whatever knows who Ina May is. And Ina May was really influential to me as well. I met her later in my career, and it wasn't the meeting her that was super influential, other than I did super fangirl. And so Juliana got Ina May because she was the speaker for Just Birth, which I was on the board for that for a while. And so for the yearly meeting or whatever, she was the speaker. And then Juliana was like, hey, you should come back to Winchester and hang out at my house.
And, like, a little known fact, something I didn't realize until I got to know Juliana more, is apparently Ina May, like, comes and chills in Berryville all the time.
Yeah, they're friends.
Yeah.
And so
I was like, wait, because I used to live on the same street as Juliana. I was like, wait, Ina May's been, like, literally catty corner to my house multiple times in the last years, and I didn't know. What?
Purposely. Did not. On
Yeah,
purpose.
that's fair. That's really valid.
So they set up a book signing at one of the local health food stores. And so Ina May, I read her book when I was pregnant and when I was a birth student. And Ina May's Guide to Childbirth, I still think, is one of those books that if you read it, it just helps you get it. It just helps you get it that women intuitively know how to give birth.
Yeah.
And I really love...
That book will never go out of style.
No, and I love the stats in the back of the birth because, if you know the backstory of Ina May, that they had the farm and they just intuitively learned how to, like, help all these hippies on their commune learn how to give birth, and but they kept stats for every single one, and how many C-sections and how many breech births and how many forehead
VBACs
presentations and VBACs and all the things, and their C-section rate was ridiculously low, but there was no raised maternal or infant mortality amongst it. So I think that it was, for me, it was groundbreaking in seeing that trusting women's bodies
Led
can
to bad
change the
outcomes.
way that it is, but it also led to good outcomes. It
Yeah.
wasn't bad outcomes as well. And so when she came to Winchester and she was doing the book signing, and somebody came up to me because I was already a doula in the birth community, and they're like, so somebody needs to sit next to Ina May while she's doing her book signing and hand her the books. Do you want to do that? And I was just like, what?
I'm just imagining like that one side of your body where you're like closer to her, like your armpits just like sweating, you have like this crazy sweat ring on
you
just
like-
this one side of your
Yeah.
body.
Or you like here
Here's your book
Or
signing.
like keep brushing your boob on accident. Like
Listen
this.
to
you know the boob accidental boob touch that
Yes.
people do.
So I sat next to her for like 2 hours and I handed her her books. And
Every time I can see every time you're like,
there's another one.
did people
I
bring
think
their
this
own,
one's special.
or did
Yes,
they have
no,
to buy
people
them?
brought their own, and she was signing them. And Stephen Gaskin was there as well, and so I got to meet him, and I was just like, this is one of the best days of my life. And
Yeah.
I had my baby in a baby wrap, and so I got to take a picture of her with my baby in a baby wrap, and I was like, oh my god, I've reached full birth worker cult status.
When I met her the first time, it was at that, I went to like a conference with Dr. D and Gretchen, because they're like so much fun and so cool and so down to earth, and I went with Aaron and we were roommates together.
Yeah.
Brock was a baby, so I was still in that like horrible phase of life where like nothing is real. But
Yeah.
it was my turn, like there was no one there, and I was like, oh god, I can't do it. I don't know what to say. And Gretchen's like, when the hell do you ever not know what to fucking say? You never shut up. Just go say something. And I was like, I can't! So she grabs my back and shoves me to the point where I'm like tripping forward.
So now you're just gonna face plant
And
in
I
front
did,
of her.
and I was like, bam!
Hey there, anime.
No. Nope. Mm-mm. I
Didn't
just
even get
name
that
dropped
out.
Juliana. It's all I could think of. And I was like, I know your friend Juliana.
You didn't stand up and go, how you doing?
No, I didn't. No. I don't know what I said after that, but it was a lot of
It's
mumbling.
all a blur
Yeah.
after that.
And then later I was like, you are such an idiot. She's just a human being. Why would you act that way? But that's how I was
I'm
with,
sure
with
she's
Juliana
so
also.
used to it at this point.
I did that with Juliana
So
too,
if
but it's fine.
any of you midwives are out there and you listen to this while we fangirl you so hard, like we would
Sorry,
love
not
to
sorry.
take you to Naked Spa or
Yes,
just like run around.
we
a
Listen,
talked about
can
that
we just
so
run
many
around a
times.
campfire naked with you, like
Juliana
something?
and Zan already said they would come get naked with us.
Oh my god! Ooh,
We just
please.
have to set it
Can we
up.
please do that?
That
Yes.
requires somebody to answer their text messages and phone calls.
Juliana. I'm like, lady, what are you doing? Come get sushi. No answer.
I guess technically we know where she lives if we want to be those people.
We could drop by.
Yeah. But just thinking of all of them and the books that I read early on in my birth worker career, but I remember going to doula training, and I just remember feeling like so filled with like passion about informed consent and bodily autonomy and being able to
That
make
has not
decisions
gone
for
away.
yourself. No.
Just
And-
grown.
Being at my doula training, like, and I remember them saying like the word allow, and I was like, I'm just like this little baby, like 20-year-old, and I'm like, I hate that word allow. I am power. Nobody allows me to do anything.
I do what I want.
I allow myself.
I do what I want.
And my instructor pulled me to the
No, now we know where Brock gets it from.
yeah. So
I did that.
my instructor pulled me to the side, and she goes, "For God's sakes, if you ever get pregnant, please have a home birth. You will not do well in the hospital."
You mean the hospital will not do well with you?
I was gonna say.
You would be fine.
But as
This place would burn to
part
the ground.
as part of my doula training, I remember they had us draw a picture of our dream births. I hadn't
Stop. Do you have this photo
I-
still?
I would have to look for it. I might. But I remember I drew a picture, and in it, Zan was my midwife. And
Oh my god!
she had this long flowing hair, and she was standing behind me, just like holding me while I squatted my baby out on the floor. And that was my picture that I had.
Did you
for
draw
my
a
dream
little?
birth.
Did you do a little bubble? Was she like, that is beautiful, bloody show?
Your cervix is opening so
Your perineum
beautifully.
is so stretchy.
When
Your
that
vagina
turd,
is swelling so beautifully.
when that turd rolled across the floor, it was beautiful because it meant the baby's head was coming down.
It's so funny. So can we talk about like little baby doula version of our birth? And now that like I'm going into birth as an informed person, the first image that popped in my mind is me drawing a picture of like just my ass with my gaping asshole.
Your ass is so huge. There's no way for your asshole to gape.
If your asshole gapes, can I take a picture of it?
I might prove you guys wrong.
I cannot. I'm so excited about your birth.
We'll be like gaping asshole exhibit A, subject not named.
Yeah. But you could probably figure
but
it
now
out.
that we've named it on the podcast, everybody knows.
Everyone that listens, people like clients and stuff will be like, "Oh my God, I heard Meredith was pregnant," and I'm like, "Yes, are you her midwife?" Like everyone asks that question.
No one's invited.
I'm not allowed to tell her anything at all.
I'll do that.
Okay.
I might put my face in my
gosh.
sweater like this while I try and tell her stuff. Like, Meredith, baby.
I just keep envisioning like
Maybe you should go to sleep, Meredith.
I'm just wishing that I
being-
had drawn a picture of my dream birth before I became a midwife, because it'd probably be a lot fucking cuter.
I just keep seeing like Terrence and I like arm in arm,
That's not
like
gonna happen.
touching Lilu, and you're like holding her face and like whispering things, and Alice is like standing there with the clipboard writing.
Are you kidding? Alice is gonna be like I'm like, if you're in my face, she's gonna be like
Alice is gonna
on
be
my ass.
Alice
Like,
is
she's
gonna be
just
behind her in the tub, cradling her the way Terrence should be.
Yes. We
And
need a
Terrence
photographer
Terrence
to
is
take
gonna
pictures.
be so grateful for that.
Can we just hire a strange person to take pictures of everything?
No, I was not trying to make this about my birth. I'm sorry. I just wanted to say
I
that
did
that's
that
what happens when you
accident.
do birth work. Is like all of a sudden there's like this cute, adorable picture that you have, and then here's this cute picture that Evie drew of her dream birth.
I know.
And then mine's of my gaping asshole. Like that's just birth work.
But they'll be Jess and I will be on either side of your rectum going pointing to it.
Wink at it.
I do.
I'm gonna make this face.
Before we go to break, which is time to, I do hope
end this.
one day it is my dream for someone to be like, "That's who I want to be," and be talking about the three of us, like, "That's the birth workers we want to be because they made us feel so special."
Okay, listen.
No
People
pressure,
say that
though.
to me.
Oh, do they?
I've had that said to me several times, and when I'm like, "That's my dream," but then every time a dream comes true, I'm like, "Well, that feels oddly anticlimactic." Like people are like, "Oh my God, you're exactly what I want to be as a midwife," and I'm like, "What? Really? Why?"
You could
All
do so
this?
much better.
I mean, have you seen this person down the street? I'm not that cool.
Have you watched
felt
our
that.
YouTube videos?
That sounded really unhumble when I said that. I'm just saying it's a dream for people to want to be like us, but then people do say, "I want to be like you guys," and then you're like,
But then they hear a podcast like, oh wait, they're fucked. Like, I
"Yeah,
don't
never
wanna be
mind."
anything
But I'm like,
them.
"You don't want to be like me. You want to be yourself.
Yes.
You want to be mentally stable."
So every time we butt heads,
yeah,
just remember, you don't want me to be you. You
No.
want me to be myself.
I want you to be you.
Just remember, it's not a you, it's a
uterus.
uterus.
Like uterus.
It's a uterus, Marge.
Terrence made some crack about that the other day. He was like, talking about the way he's like, it's about uteri, right? I'm like, no, dude, it's about uter-me. Like, go fuck yourself.
Uter me. Uter me.
Me. All right, well, it's time to go to break. When we come back, we're going to talk about a birth story of the week.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we got a hit.
Oh.
This is why we don't drink anymore.
Oh.
Holding.
Can we
have to start part two.
Can we start the thing with our chins out?
Ready? Yeah, we can.
Suns out, chins out.
Yeah. You ready?
I need you to work harder at this.
You don't even have a neck.
You start
do
laughing
have a
so
neck.
hard that you can't even squish what little you've got.
Stop. Ready?
Yes.
Welcome back from that delightful break.
And this is why we don't drink when we record anymore.
No, I was just saying, it's been a long time since
For
we
the record,
did.
I had one glass of wine.
I'm on my second.
I also only had one glass of wine.
Ish.
We're just not
Because
doing
I'm
anything
just
today.
dating.
You're what?
Because I'm just dating.
You're gestating. You're not allowed to drink.
But I was just saying that
I don't agree with that at all.
I forget
I just am limiting myself.
how much fun we used to have when we drank, when we recorded
I
every time.
know.
Also, like, the
feel like
sun's
we've been-
out, I feel like we're, like, easing back into, like, our fun summer selves slowly.
Flowing
We
into
got
it.
too busy to drink.
I know.
That chapter where we just used to sit in your backyard and drank wine and had
sit in the
nothing
sun?
to do.
It
We
was
didn't
so
talk
good.
about work.
No.
We didn't
That
talk about
video,
anything.
the video that we made back in the day, I was so drunk. I don't
Oh my god, I know. We used
really
to get
remember.
wasted.
I look back on that video and I'm like, oh my god.
But I was just saying today that now that the sun's coming out again, like a Beatles song,
Yeah.
we need to have like a beer pong.
Do. Oh, I can't wait to do. Yeah, we'll do it. Let's do it.
And a fire pit night. Oh my god, I'm so excited. I
I
can't
just
even
need
handle
one
it.
mom to have her baby,
Yeah.
and then I'm all in.
All in on the fire pit. Yeah, that was a delightful break. It took a lot longer than we expected. My mom came in.
Nice little visit with Liz.
We started planning your photo shoot.
Yep.
It's gonna be amazing.
Your pregnancy is going by so fast. I can't even
It's
handle it.
It's going. It's it's like been crazy because it really has been so like enjoyable and like I feel like I've been really present with it. But I was just like, woke up and like panicked the other morning because I was like, holy shit, we have one visit left, and then it's like our home prep visit.
Yeah.
Well, they're all home prep visits.
You're like almost
I
in
feel
your.
like.
We've been coming to you for some of them at least.
Oh, the last two you have, I think.
You're totally almost in your window.
Yeah, it's weird.
Don't rush it.
I tell people I'm gonna carry to 43 anyway.
You keep saying that, but I just don't know if that's gonna happen.
I just keep telling myself that so I don't like get to that point where I'm like, I'm so over being pregnant.
I think you're gonna have your baby exactly on 420
That would
because
be
that would
really
be
magic.
amazing.
And that would be great because the parents
420.
can go to Apple Blossom.
Could you have your baby on 420? On 420?
Wait,
Well,
who's
she-
going to Apple Blossom?
Terrence is really wanting to go to Apple Blossom.
Oh, he's
That
gonna
was the-
bring Penny
That's
after.
the
and
first
he'll
thing.
be resting.
That's the first thing he asked when he found out our due date was that if he can still go to Apple Blossom.
Well, I'm still gonna contact the police department and ask if they can ride us in on horses.
I also want to ask if we can like braid rainbow ribbons in their hairs and put a unicorn horn on them because can you imagine Penny would lose her shit?
Oh my god!
She would lose
Please.
her mind.
Please let me gallop up somehow slow motion
With
on a unicorn through your
I
prayer.
feel like you got really offended when I just made the joke about
You
showing
riding
up
me or me
No.
riding you?
with a unicorn horn and you sitting on me back with like a flowy shirt like we're
On
on the
my
Princess
back.
Bride.
I don't see how you think that these are two comparable situations.
Well, we're talking about.
I feel all the judgment
unicorn.
rushing off of her like a
feeling
heat wave.
so judged.
I feel it.
I would like to acknowledge
I
that
feel
you
that.
also thought that that was a very strange idea.
This is not a safe space.
I do not. I do not recall giving a feeling at all.
I'm like, Kim, I don't have feelings.
I don't fucking have feelings, Meredith.
I call you an asshole once, and like the last 6 months, and now I'm gonna have to deal with it for the rest of my fucking life.
Forever.
Can we just like? There's been a lot of rhyming in those last few sentences, and I'm really proud of you guys. for
Really?
that.
Thank you.
Yeah, you guys are poets.
No, we're just
We're
like
embodying
so synced
Dr.
up.
Seuss. Dr.
Yeah.
Seuss.
You said I called you asshole once in the last couple months.
We should write a friendship book.
Yeah.
Oh my god! How to be soulmates. How to be BFFs
Only call
successfully.
your friend an asshole once every couple months.
Yeah. Just to keep them.
Maybe it'll sell as well as a diary of a midwife.
Sell as well. It will sell just as well.
As diarrhea.
For God's sakes, move on. Don't we have a birth story of the
We
week?
do. If you can't tell, we are drinking wine today. We do have a first story of the week.
I have one glass. This is not. That's not.
I think it's just like the vibe though. Like
Yeah, when we started, I was slurring and I hadn't even drank yet. It has nothing to do with the wine.
Your
to do
speech
with
has
the
gotten
wine.
better since we've started.
Yeah, I don't
and
know
since
what's
we started
happening.
drinking more.
Yeah.
It's just I'm in such a good like. We looked at Chuck and I like to look at the weather, and he was like, "Don't." He goes,
That
"Don't,
doesn't sound old.
don't despair." I know.
That's the lamest thing you've ever.
One of my favorite
That's
hobbies.
about as lame as you telling us about your ophthalmologist appointment.
Oh,
One of my
my
favorite
God.
hobbies is looking at the weather with
With
my
my
We,
husband.
we do look at the weather, and we play pickleball, and
Do you?
we go to the. I do. I pickle that ball, and then we went to the ophthalmologist together this morning. Listen. Do you know how when you get married, and, and they're like, they give you all those little like adorable. What's the Irish? Like the best is yet to come. Whatever.
Yeah.
This
Like
is
little
this is the
cupcake
fucking
things.
best. We're going to the eye doctor together so that I
Yeah.
can upgrade my glasses prescription.
Yeah.
We're
I
playing
still remember
pickleball.
when we went to Target last time you got your new prescription
Exactly.
and your eyes were dilated, so you were like, Meredith, what
What-
does this pillow look
what
like?
is this?
Meredith,
I
It
feel
feels
like
good.
you guys do still have the best of both worlds because he'd be like, I went to the eye doctor so I can see your ass bouncing when I do you from behind.
Fair. That's really what he wants to see.
It doesn't sound like that at all.
She's still on a rhyming train right now.
But this is just like what happens when you grow old
He doesn't
together.
have that much game.
He has zero game. He just walks around in front bump pants and doesn't
That's
have to
all
talk
he
at
needs.
all. He's just like, sup. And I'm like, yes.
Also, we just found out today that Jess had never seen The Labyrinth until recently.
Never.
Olivia, guess what else she
Or
hasn't
legend.
seen? Jesus God. You guys, come on.
I mean,
have
I
to
would
do
just
it.
like to say that the chances of us having a movie night are getting less and less as the sun is staying out longer, as it gets
True.
warmer.
That's true.
We have to just make it happen.
Do you know what you remind me of?
What?
The Babe.
What,
The
babe?
babe, like the pig?
Babe. Oh my god.
Damn it!
Alright, no.
Listen.
We're gonna have to watch it again.
No, the labyrinth. I know what you're talking about.
I don't even know what to say to you right now.
I know you're talking about the labyrinth.
Carly,
I
how,
do.
Carly
The
has
babe
a
with
T-shirt that
labyrinth.
says "The Babe with the Power."
But there's also there's,
No,
There's also
no, there's not.
Wait,
Stop
wait.
No.
Alright, hey! Bring it
Just
together.
stop talking.
So we're
Alright, you're doing
pregnant
my
one.
job. All right,
Wrap
we
it up.
have a birth story of the week.
We have a couple, don't we?
Yeah, we do have a couple. So I wanted to talk about the birth story of the week that I did, and neither one of you were there.
That's fine, we'll just sit back and listen.
But it was
Sounds
super,
pleasant.
super awesome because I know we talk on here a lot about how we have like primips and multips, and we expect primips to take a long time and multips to not take a long time. And so this mom was one of those primips that took us by surprise, and it was really, really nice of her.
Nice.
Yeah,
Of her.
but I was really sad because you weren't there.
I was not.
Yeah, but
What birth are we talking about? Have we talked about it yet?
no. So, okay, so basically, this couple texted me in the morning, and they were like, oh, yeah, we're having contractions. This is happening. That's happening. Or actually, it was a night. And I was like, all right, do your thing. Go to sleep. This is where you go to sleep. That's what's going to happen. And so then basically, they texted me in the morning, and they did that thing where they were like, well, contractions are doing this now. And I was like, okay, we should head into the center, but we'll just go in there. We'll see what's going on, and then I'll text the midwives afterwards so that, you know, we don't go in
Yeah.
too soon.
Sorry, this is how much we talk about our work life now. I'm trying to think of what we were doing that, like, the day that you were at their birth.
Oh my gosh,
Trying to orient myself.
I can't even remember.
So, like, our text conversation we had going on during this time.
I have no idea.
Okay, I don't
Yeah.
think I've heard anything about this birth then.
Okay. It was the first time on.
Okay.
And so, yeah, we get to the center, and she's having contractions, and I'm like, oh, this
She's in it.
seems... Yeah, well, I went to their house first. So I went to their house, and I was like, oh, man, really seems like something's happening.
Mm-hmm.
But I was also, like, doing that thing where I was like, but what if it's not? Because she's first-time mom, and contractions were a little wonky when I got here, so... Do I call it and go into the center, or do I stay here a little bit longer?
And I feel like you're, like, super mindful of the providers that you're, like, bringing in with you when you go.
Yeah.
So you, like, really feel self-conscious calling too early.
Yes, and so, but I was like, no, this feels real. This feels legit. Let's head into the center. So we get to the center, and they check her, and she was like, well, she labored for a little bit, and they check her, and then she was like 9 centimeters already. And we're like,
Nice!
yes! Oh my gosh,
That's
that's amazing.
awesome.
So she gets in the tub, and she's doing her thing, and she just labored so beautifully. Her and her husband were just like on point. Like,
So sad.
Even when I-
wasn't there for
He
that.
must be an excellent butt rub. He must be so calm and gentle.
he was. Even when I got there, he would like go over, he would give her counter pressure. And I was kind of like worried because she was having like some crazy back pain when I got there. And so I was like, so I texted Jen because Jen was a midwife, and I was like, okay, listen, she's either 1 centimeter and has posterior baby, or she's
Almost
about
Feeling rectal pressure.
And baby's coming down.
exactly. I was like, it's one of those two things, and I'm not going to make a promise of which one it was.
You're welcome.
Yeah. And so we get there, and she was indeed 9 centimeters, and the baby was not
Did you
posterior.
feel like a goddess? You're like,
I mean,
Golden.
I wouldn't say I felt like a goddess, but I was like, okay, I was, I was right in my feelings.
You felt like you knew what you were doing.
Yes. And so she's like laboring, she's in the water, but then the thing happened. You know when you get there and you're like, we don't celebrate to the placenta, but sometimes you still do.
Yeah.
And so she's like pushing, because she started pushing on her own, she's doing this thing, she's doing that thing, and the baby's not coming.
Yeah, I was gonna say, pushing with a prime move is the way.
Yeah, and we were talking, because remember, you were like, is she still pushing?
I'll remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Don't listen to her, Lulu.
Lulu, you'll be fine, but pushing is gonna be awful.
No, it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we were all texting, and you were like,
pushed forever.
yeah, it was like 3 hours.
Yeah.
And so after even after we knew she was like fully dilated, and it was like, okay, she's still pushing. And so then we're trying to do all these different positions, like on your side in the bed. All right, now we're doing lunges next to the birth pool. Then we were going up and down the stairs. And so eventually, like, her water breaks doing lunges, and like we're like, okay, all right, I think it's gonna happen. She still had to push so hard. Like, she worked her ass off. You know those times where you're like, God, how could she push any harder?
Yeah, and then when the baby comes out, you feel like so amazing.
Yes.
Like, you just, I love those births.
Yes.
You just celebrate them more than like the easy, for whatever reason.
But for
because you just see them like work their ass off for so long,
Yeah.
and you see like the depth of like strength they have to pull from, and at that point, like I feel like. I don't know, I feel like in transition moms like, oh, I'm done, I don't want to do this anymore, right? But I feel like when women are pushing that hard, they rarely tap out. Like, they're just, like, fucking in it.
She wanted to tap out. She was like, what?
And no one, like, there's no judgment in that, right?
But it made total sense, because the baby finally comes out. So the baby crowns, the baby finally comes out. The baby not only had a nuchal hand, like, the baby had his arm wrapped, like,
Oh, that's
all the way around its neck.
He's like, this is my thinking position.
Yes.
Also, you can get your hand really far around your face.
And,
Can you do that?
and that's how he was born.
You can reach your chin.
Uh-huh.
So with the way the baby's
Okay,
arm
flexible.
was, it was actually hard for the baby to even be flexed, and it was like an entire nuchal arm situation. So this first time mom pushed out her baby for the first time in 3 hours with his arm completely wrapped around his neck,
awesome.
not flexed. And even after he came out, like, his head came out, and it wasn't a shoulder show, but it was like, oh, what's happening? There's a hand, like, there was, like, manipulation, like, what's going on here? Oh, that explains a lot. And she was kind of traumatized afterwards, like, that was so hard. I don't know if I can ever do it again. The dad was also traumatized, like, that was so hard even watching you go through it.
But you also, like, know as a fighter, it's, like, one of those births that are, like, it's probably not gonna happen again. Like, your second experience is gonna be completely different.
Exactly, and the rest of her active labor was so fast.
Yeah.
That's what I tried to tell her. Like, if you have another baby and its arm is not literally wrapped around its head like a weird piece of origami, like, you will have such a fast birth that it's probably going to be...
And you're probably going to say that you wish it hadn't been so fast.
Yes, it's going to be like last week's episode where you have your baby in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the ones that do it, though.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, my last one was so terrible.
Yeah, and so after the birth, she's like, I'm never doing this again. I'm never having another baby.
Which I feel like, I'd say vast majority of people say that. There's like, you got those random weirdos that I love who are like, I gotta do that again. And you're like, what?
Or they say, for the next one. I'm like, what?
Yeah. Planning that already, huh? Sense is still in.
Also, I'm not being rude. I was messaging with Dana, who we love.
Hi, Dana.
And so I couldn't wait. I was like, I could wait until the podcast is over, but I'm not.
I would love to,
Love
to make
Dana's
you feel like this is the only time you do this, but you're on your phone
all the
for
time.
most of our episodes.
But
could you not say that to Chuck, please?
But Dana is our client who we had together, and we have this amazing pictures from her. Kim just posted one on our news feed from it today, where I was looking at her like, or I wish I could figure out what I was thinking.
I told her I
maybe
wanted
we
to
should
put
have people put like their own like, what is Jess saying in this picture?
I said that I was looking at her adoringly, but also saying, what the F did you
what
just
the
say?
How do I love somebody who I don't agree with so strongly?
My 22-year marriage.
Exactly.
So I want to put one of her pictures up, but I want her to pick which one.
Yes.
So we're just messaging back and forth.
Awesome. Hi, Dana.
Hi.
Yeah, so that mom was just so awesome, and the way they worked together, and she was just, it was just one of those births where I was like, you know, sometimes where you have births, first time mom coming up, and you're like, how is that going to go? How long am I going to be there?
Yes.
What's going to happen?
Yeah.
And it was just one of those births where it was like, birth does work, even when things aren't completely normal. And it was very validating for me to see that, and to help me, you know, in this journey of birth work.
And also, like, just really reinforces that you have to take each birth at face value, because, like, pushing for 3 hours, like, would be concerning for a lot of providers, right? But in that situation, it's what needed to happen in that scenario.
And
So
it was totally
just let
normal,
it,
baby was totally fine.
let it be.
Did she only push for 3 hours?
Yes. I don't know. I can't remember exactly. It was something like
Jess wasn't charting. So.
How long did you push with Lila before we transferred?
Before we transferred,
With me as a brand new doula,
like
not attending.
5 hours, but I think I had her at the 6 hour mark. But part of that was with the lip, and part of that was, I don't know. I think it would have gone a lot different had you been my midwife.
Oh, really?
Knowing what you know now. Yeah.
Had you done the
I'll take that.
scissor fingers?
Let me stroke your ego.
Thank you. I love having my ego stroked. Feels good. On the
That
whole.
doesn't cross our friend boundary. That one's
No.
okay.
Feels good on the whole.
Yeah. Preparation H. You preparation H me.
Ego stroking is the preparation
I can't even
age of
focus
friendship.
on this anymore. I just want to be out in the sun.
I know, right?
we're
Okay, so let's
struggling.
tell our second birth story of the week.
Our second birth story is the opposite of the one you just told,
Oh,
where
we
we
were there
had
together.
a multip, and it took forever.
It did take forever, but it was more like early labor took forever.
It did, but that remember, so we referenced this lady's last birth we did together. It's her second birth.
Her last
we've
one
done
was
with
like
her.
this too, right? Like it just takes forever to
And
kick in.
For me, it seemed super fast because you didn't call me until
I didn't call you to the end.
30
yeah.
minutes till she had her baby.
I didn't go until super late either. I was only there for maybe 4 to 5 hours before the baby
Okay.
came. But she ended up having another 24-hour labor. But this
I
is...
thought you were going to say 45 minutes.
No,
And you're like,
I was there
oh.
for like 4 to 5 hours before.
But you were so confused the whole time. You
I
didn't know
had
what was
no
going
idea what the
on.
hell was going on. Yeah, I even like jokingly
when-
told Kim that I was gonna leave even though she was 9 centimeters because I didn't know what was
And I was like,
happening.
I don't think you should do that.
I mean, she lives 50 minutes away there, but
Even when I got there, you pulled me aside. You're like, "What do you think's going on?" And I was like, "I can't tell."
yeah, we were sitting on the bed and then I was like, I think she's pushing. Still not sure. But yeah, so this is the same lady who I haven't asked her permission, so I'm not gonna give any details. But this is we did her birthday the last time. This is the one where we like went to her house totally thinking we were gonna have a baby, and then we had that fun sleepover at her house where we
giggled
just
so
like
much.
giggled and talked and
Oh,
stayed
I
up
love
all
that
night.
story.
And probably I asked her, I was like, do you remember that? Like, did we keep you up that night? And she's like, no, girl, I had like a million kids. I didn't even know. I was like, okay. Makes me feel better.
Yeah.
So yeah, this mama, I pulled her chart up because like I said, she'd been in labor for so long that it was like all day. But she texted me the day before the baby, texted me the day the baby was born at 5:30 in the morning to let me know she'd been having inconsistent contractions since midnight.
Okay.
And then we just like texted all day about what was going on, and like she'd occasionally have intense contractions, but they never really got super close together.
Yeah.
And like even when I finally went to go see her around dinner time, I think they still had like spaced out to like almost every 10 to 15, but they were getting really intense. And it was just really strange because we have births where they stay spaced out, but 10 to 15 and even 20 minutes, that's a really long time.
Yeah, I've
Between
only had a handful of
contractions.
births like that.
Yeah, and so I like get there, and you know, usually like when I go to a birth, like I want to spend the first hour. This is just my personal pacing as a provider. I like to just sit there for a bit and see what's going on. I don't want to mess with anything. I just
Yeah.
like want to see what's going on.
And let them sink into their space now that the new person has entered it.
Right, yeah. And like she was doing a really great job. I could tell she was in it, but it just like was not like the contractions were just like so inconsistent. But the baby did not. So I was like, okay, kid's in a posterior position, but it just didn't like feel posterior. So it was just like a very one of those births where you're like, wow, you think you know things, and then you
Yeah,
realize you
and
know
then you
nothing.
Well, our friend Martha was like that too, remember?
Yeah.
Like
8 minutes apart the whole time.
some of them were 12, and then all of a
Yes.
sudden you were like,
Come now.
she's pushing.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Oh, I also really love. She did go see the chiropractor that day too, which I love.
magical.
Yes. I send people to the chiropractor in labor all the time. Like, I'm sorry that I'm asking you to do that, but it's totally
the
worth
best.
it.
It's the best.
Okay, so yeah, I went to her house around dinner time, and then after that hour, I was still kind of like uncertain what the heck was going on, and so I'd kind of just sunk into the idea that I was gonna be there for a while, but it wasn't that bad. But I remember texting Kim because I was just like, I feel like the whole day had been like, I don't know what's going on. I'm just verbally processing this with you because this is what I do.
Nothing about her labor patterns was normal ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when she finally asked me to check her at one point, and she was, did I say she was 7 at that point?
think so.
Is that when you went?
That's
No.
No.
Because you
sorry,
told me
she was 9 at that point when I
you
checked
told
her.
and you said, Jess, you should go if she's 9. And,
Yeah.
And
And then I was
Meredith
like,
said,
no, don't come
no,
yet.
don't
Yeah.
come.
Because
Lay down and go to sleep because nothing is literally happening at all.
Because she was 9 centimeters, but baby was so high. Like, I
Yeah.
could barely reach the baby's head. And her contractions were, like, Q20 at this point.
And I was like, all right, I'll try and sleep.
So
No.
I honestly thought I was going to get the mom to fall asleep. Because
Yeah.
she was exhausted because she'd been laboring all day. And so Kim was like, just break her fucking water.
Just break the water!
And I do feel I never would have broke people's water when I first started, but I do feel more comfortable with it after seeing you do it more. But that baby was so high, just like everything in my gut was like,
Your intuition was telling you.
Yeah.
that.
If the baby is too high, I mean, there is such thing as being too high.
yeah. So, anyway, so I didn't end up breaking her water. But, oh my god, I love that song. That's like,
later.
Yeah.
like, let's talk about Bear's ego. That's like my favorite song. No, I'm just kidding.
It's all about you, Mary.
So anyways, but I don't know if I've told you that. So like probably within the first half hour after this kid came out, when I said her name.
No, you didn't.
I did not say her name.
No.
The client looks at me and goes, I wonder why our births take so long together when mine became faster.
Oh my gosh.
And it was not like in a judgy way at all, but you probably would have broken her water, and like maybe it would have picked
Hell
up.
yeah, I would have broken
But
it.
what I did
I wouldn't have broken it.
instead-
I would have just poked it.
Instead, I gave her Benadryl and told her to go to sleep, and she did. She went like a solid 40 minutes without a contraction.
Perfect.
It was great.
I
And
did that
That's when I was
recently.
like, I'm going home. She's 9 centimeters because
And
I
I was
thought
like,
she was gonna
no.
just stop completely.
Abort that plan.
But after that 40-minute break, she started having them more like every 20, and then like every 15.
When did her water break?
Not to the very end.
And how much was it? Like,
It was in the water.
This is the water.
Oh.
It was
No.
like a normal amount, I feel like, though.
but you can't really see it.
It was definitely
right?
wrong
No.
after I got there, though.
Yeah.
While she was actively pushing.
Because sometimes there's just, I've been seeing so much fluid that they're just not, they can't contract normally.
Yeah.
And then
I
their
thought
water
this kid
breaks
was
and
going
I'm
to be
like,
born in the
oh.
call. Like, honestly, like, she was that far along. But, yeah. So, I have to say, though, this birth, because I use Benadryl, like, I feel fine with that. It's in our license. It's in our
I
orders.
love Benadryl.
This is the birth that I saw it work the best, though.
Yeah.
Like, even though contractions were really intense for her during them, she relaxed so beautifully in between.
She did.
Like, even pushing.
And I think it helped turn off her brain probably
It did.
a bit.
I think she was really annoyed.
They
And I
give
think
it,
it,
they
like,
give
gave
it
her
IV in
a
the
break.
hospital for this reason.
Yeah.
But we just don't do that.
I love it. I was so great. And, like, I asked her afterwards, because it's really interesting, because I feel like she'd been laboring long enough without it to really notice a difference. And I was like, did you notice the difference? She's like, oh, yeah, I was able to rest so much better in between.
Yeah.
So that was really great. So anyways, like, at that point, we're sitting, before that, Jess was laying in, they have a toddler who sleeps in bed in the room with them still, and he has this cute little Montessori bed, and Jess was, like, curled up in the bed, like, typing on the computer.
I saw that picture.
On
Yeah.
my chart in like a bus.
Yeah, because we still didn't know exactly what was going on at that point. But we were sitting on the bed, and she's in the tub, and every once in a while I'd be like, I think she's pushing. I don't know if she's pushing. I think she's pushing. I don't know if she's pushing. And then, like, literally, like, 2 minutes later, she's, like,
she was
full
like,
on
I'm
pushing.
And she said something. She was like, I think I'm pushing.
Yeah.
And
And
we're
then,
like, oh, okay.
I love it when the moms announce that. They're like,
I know.
pushing!
I think
Yeah.
she's been pushing a lot longer than she, like,
Right.
like, led us on to. Because I think she
Yeah.
didn't want to name it because it'd been longer than she'd expected.
Right.
So then, yeah, then she had this, like, really phenomenal birth in the tub, and then I, like, have so many questions about this one, too, because so her baby came out with a triple nuchal around the neck and one around the shoulder, so it's technically a quadruple, but the kids
Quadruple nuchal.
quadruple nuchal, that was what our book was saying. And the kid started breathing, because I was trying to get the cord untangled before it came out of the water, but the dad was catching too, so the dad brought the baby up, and so I was trying to untangle out of the water, but the kid was already breathing even with the quadruple cord. And so then the mom and I were talking about it afterwards, and she was like, do you think the cord is what held him up? Because he did not drop until the very
Probably,
end.
yeah.
But it was like, it could have, which is like me, I'm like, I'm really glad I didn't break your water.
But not necessarily. It could have been
But
some
he
other
was breathing, right?
things.
Yeah.
Because, like, your uterus comes down with it.
Yeah.
So,
And
It just
how
is
long did
interesting.
It
I
take
wish-
for placenta.
It took a while.
yeah.
Yeah. But her last one took a while too. So, but it was just interesting. Like, it's like one of those ones where it's like, did my intuition tell me not to break her water because of the cord and the baby needed to come down on its own, or would it not have mattered? It's just like one of those questions you'll never really get the answer to. Yeah.
But I also love this birth too, because I know in her first several births she had babies with like shoulder dystocias or sticky shoulders, and so at this birth it was definitely,
there was like no question in her mind that was gonna happen.
And the last birth it was like that too, and the last birth I think they were a little sticky, but nothing like
terrible.
The other ones. But then this birth I feel like the baby just came. There was nothing. And so it was just like such a relief. It was like, the baby's here. There was no shoulder dystocia.
We've had a lot of those recently where they had dystocias and then they had completely
or like horrible hemorrhages, and then the next baby everyone's like, okay,
it's like real redemptive.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, so it was great. And then she had like she had a sweet moment where her kids were asleep, but then they woke them up because their oldest girl is the one who wanted to know what the sex of the baby.
They're announcing the sex of the baby.
So that was very sweet.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it was like a really great postpartum and really chill and
also you guys know who you are. That quiche that you guys.
Oh my god, that quiche was so good.
Oh, so good.
Thank you very much.
Made my life.
Yeah,
definitely worth living.
So it was great. It was just one of those births where it's like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes. I feel like you learn something from every birth, but it's always fun to have one where it makes you kind of stop and wonder. And it's like frustrating not have the answer, but that's also the beauty of birth too. Is you just kind of trust your gut and like listen to your instincts. Yeah. So.
And actually, I feel like people who say that they know less, you can actually tell that they know more.
Yeah.
Well, then I know nothing.
Yeah.
Does that help?
People keep asking me, like, what's it like being pregnant and a midwife? I'm like, I'm realizing I know fucking nothing.
Nothing.
I know. It's literally unteaching
what I can't wait.
What I know.
Because now you really just have to listen to your intuition because you're a birthing mom.
Yeah.
I can't wait for us to say, I'm going to make sure that I say to you phrases that you say to other people.
I've already joked that people can come and like record their voices and whatever the stupid shit I say to you in labor.
I want to see if it helps or not, because when
I'm probably gonna know you're doing it though. I'll be like, fuck off, Kim.
Well,
that's why it's so hard to support birth workers.
It's so hard because when Katrina was saying to me this, and I had already had 3 kids, so it's not like it was new, but she was saying to me things that she and I say to people, and I was like,
you're doing it right now.
Is that, do I say that?
I know what you're doing right now.
Contraction brings you closer to your baby.
I'll be like, you're doing it right now. You're doing it right now. Don't you duel me.
Don't you tell me I'm doing good. I don't want to hear it.
Jess, I know you didn't do that in labor, but I also feel like your face was so aggressive right now that you were probably doing that in your head during labor because you were so angry just now.
I'm so excited. I'm going to say all the things that I usually say to you.
That's fine. I actually do well when people like reiterate really obvious things to me generally.
Me too. I like to hear like, that's normal.
Yeah.
Everything's great.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. So anyways, those are really great births.
They were, I feel like my last months of birth were births that I was like very unsure about how they were gonna go, and then it ended up being like a great month of births that were like super, super uplifting, and I needed that in whatever time of my life I was going through. So I was like, thank you, universe.
Yeah, as much as we might question it sometimes, it generally works out.
It does. And so it's time to close out this episode.
Ooh, if I go right now, I can make it for the kids to get off the bus.
So I just wanted to say, we're starting out Women's something month.
Women's History Month, right?
Women's History Month. We're starting out Women's History Month.
That was terrible. That was really bad.
I'm going to edit out part of it. And so I just wanted to say for all the women out there, no matter how you've given birth, but also the women out there, so we talked a lot about the midwives who were influential to our lives, but any woman out there who helps other women feel powerful and to own their power, like, you're doing a big thing in the universe even if it doesn't feel like it.
Also, I just realized I didn't acknowledge Kim.
I'm doing a big
as my
thing
influential midwife, and I just feel like that's a given.
Yeah.
So sorry.
I didn't even notice. I don't anticipate people ever saying me.
You know, just my preceptor, like that person.
I don't need your acknowledgement, Meredith. It's okay.
I hope you know that me calling you an asshole is the supreme form of acknowledgement in front of
just
me.
Just like when Kyle calls me fat. I'm like, oh my god, I love you too. Okay, finish up.
Sorry. I want to thank those. I really want to thank those midwives who, through their work, like and I know it's not just us, but have given the next generation of birth workers the inspiration to help and the tools to help women who are delivering their babies to feel powerful, because there's nothing more important than that. And we can take that into every chapter of our lives and make the world a better place. And the only other thing we have to say is
cheers!
Plastic cups.
Plastic. Life in plastic.
It's fantastic.
Oh no.